And we are live. Welcome to Eat Sleep Fantasies custom kind of instant reaction to Hard Knocks. And as we get going here, I am putting the feed live on Twitter as well. But if you guys have not already, please make sure you subscribe to this page here, because what we're going to do is we're going to continue to bring a lot more content to the YouTube page. So make sure you hit subscribe. We're going to be offering a lot of things that we don't have on our normal pod, but make sure, again, hit subscribe. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk some football stuff, some not so much football stuff. If you guys have something you would like to add, just make sure that you put that right there in the little comment section, and we'll be breaking that down. So just waiting just a few minutes for some people to show up, and then we'll go from there. But Hard Knocks definitely didn't leave us wanting more, right? Like, it's absolutely great show. And they came out right off the bat and gave us what we wanted, which was Antonio Brown and Jon Gruden. Those are the two things that everybody was hoping we would see a lot of, and we saw that. So, we'll talk some fantasy stuff here in a little bit, but here's the issue. How awful did Derek Carr look? He looked pretty bad. Not as a quarterback. He actually looked really good as a quarterback. He just kind of came off as a complete douchebag, in my opinion. So take for that what you want. And if you want to make it even worse, when Derek Carr's kids were out there playing basketball, they went 0 for 2 and indoor. So I'm just going to be honest with you. That's got to play a role into how you see his family. The rolled up sleeves and the baby oil thing was hilarious. And if you don't follow us on Twitter, head over to Eat Sleep FF. We are cutting clips as the show goes on. So if you do not have Hard Knocks, that's okay. We got you covered. Head over there, check it out, because you're going to be able to see a lot of the stuff that's going on during the episode over there at Eat Sleep FF on Twitter. But here's the deal. Let's talk some fantasy football stuff. And just so we got that point covered, here's the deal. This is Derek Carr's 6th training camp, second with Jon Gruden. And there's been a lot of animosity between those two last year, visibly on the sidelines. However, we can say this. They seem like they're doing better together. And, they're talking. HBO sure as hell didn't find any negative talk between Gruden and Carr, which seems like that would be pretty easy to find. But there was none of that. Also, on top of that, if you look at the way he was throwing the deep ball in the few scenes that we saw actually live action play, which kind of a bummer this time, they weren't showing much of the scrimmage. Now, I know the first episode of Hard Knocks is always kind of just the introduction, who the main players are going to be and all that kind of stuff. And the games start next week. So the next episode next week will have a lot more game action, which would be good. But we have to be able to take away Antonio Brown's foot's messed up for sure, but he's still Antonio Brown. The clip in the middle where it was about 2.5 minutes of him just showing what he can do in one-on-ones and individuals, he is Antonio Brown. So for those of you that were fading him because of the foot injury, which you shouldn't be doing, he's going to be just fine. Now, if we want to talk about how he got the foot injury, that is definitely worth talking about. He was doing a cryogenic freeze therapy issue, and he didn't wear the proper footwear. So he got frostbite on his foot. So again, the idea that Antonio Brown got frostbite on his foot by just not wearing the proper footwear to a treatment is hilarious. So, but he seems like he's going to be just fine. You don't need to really worry about that. So the number one thing that you've got to take away from that first episode is it seems like the Derek Carr to Antonio Brown thing is going to be good. We didn't even see Josh Jacobs. He didn't even make an appearance, which was one of the things I was looking forward to most. But that's kind of what it is. But anyway, just wanted to show up and set this up. We're going to have a lot more to talk about as the season goes on of Hard Knocks. There's going to be a lot more fantasy information and implications for your team. So if you have not drafted yet, that's okay. Or if you have drafted yet, you're going to be able to find some stuff, some little tidbits you can take away. Like, for example, Hunter Renfrow, who's probably going to win the starting slot job for Oakland Raiders, has a super hot girlfriend and or wife. I got to do some research on that one. But she looked incredible, and it was pretty funny. John Gruden gave the thing, the classic football analogy of the hot wife. You outkicked your coverage, which I've used several times myself. But yeah, so anyway, make sure you hit subscribe up here. We're going to have a lot more of these as time goes on, but really appreciate it, and we will have much more for you.